Hey, welcome back to the channel, and thanks for joining this year's tour of the Washington, D.C. Auto Show. Okay, so I'm here at Public Policy Day at the D.C. Auto Show, and the public policy part with all the plenary sessions, the fireside chats, and the news and information just concluded. That was behind me. There were also some vehicle introductions, such as, and of course, this was introduced a long time ago, but it's the first time I've seen it in person, and that's the Dodge Charger. The new Dodge Charger, which is electric initially, and next it's going to be available later this year in gas form, and that's going to be the Hurricane engine, the 3-liter twin-turbo Hurricane engine. But now that there's been some policy changes and some management changes at Stellantis, policy changes via the government, we're going to see some changes in the auto industry, including at Stellantis. And what I'm wondering is, in addition to the Hurricane engine, if they're going to be able to fit the V8 in this. I don't think it'll fit the way it's designed now, but if they can redesign the front end and move some things around, maybe we'll be able to squeeze a V8, a Hemi V8 into the Charger. And if that's the case, I think we're going to see it sell way better. So that's it. It really looks nice. I mean, a lot of people don't like the styling of the Charger. I do. I think it's a good looking car. And we'll see, again, based on the new powertrains or the powertrains that will be coming in the future, if it's something that will sell. So now that Public Policy Day is over, all the news and interviews and plenary sessions and so forth, we're going to be able to go up and see the actual auto show one day before it opens to the public. So that's what I'm going to be doing now, so let's go. So we're going to start off this year's tour on the lower level, and usually the lower level has exotic cars and the Mustang Club, the Corvette Club, the classic Cadillacs, and so forth. But there are also some manufacturers down there. Stellantis is on the lower level this year, as well as Subaru, GMC, Buick, and VW. So for now, we'll take this shot of the overview, and then we'll take a walk down there. As you can see, there are some of the classic Corvettes straight ahead, and we'll try to zoom in on those. And behind those are the Mustangs, the classic Mustangs. And now classic Mustangs include some, almost late model Mustangs. But here we are at the Stellantis area, and we're starting off at the Dodge area. And really, there are only two vehicles that Dodge has, and that's the Hornet, which is actually an Alfa Romeo, and the Durango. Here's Chrysler. And right now, Chrysler's brand only has minivans. That's it. There's a shot of the Hornet, again, which is an Alfa Romeo Tonale. Alfa Romeo is also here. I'll show you what the Tonale looks like and how similar it is. It's the same thing, basically rebadged. There's the Durango, and the good thing about the Durango is this has a Hemi. And Durangos were supposed to be discontinued, I think, in 2023 or 2024, but they were extended into 2025 with the Hemis. And this was a great thing because rather than discontinuing the Hemi V8 engine, they kept it going. And there it is inside the Durango. And this was to allow it to continue being manufactured after the change in administration, which is going to see some changes in rules and regulations. So now we're taking a look at Jeep, also part of the Stellantis lineup, and there's the Grand Cherokee. One thing about the new Grand Cherokee this year, they do not any longer have V8s. The most powerful Grand Cherokee engine you can get is the Hurricane engine, which is a 6-cylinder straight twin-turboed engine. It's actually a fast engine, but it's not a V8. There's the Compass, the Jeep Compass, and there is the Grand Wagoneer. And again, the most powerful engine you can get is the Hurricane engine. It's a powerful engine, actually. It's into the 400 or 500 horsepower range, but it's just not a V8. It doesn't have the same torque curve, the same smoothness of a V8. One V8 that you can get in the Jeep is the 392, still available in the Rubicon. It's the Rubicon 392. This was also extended. It was supposed to have been discontinued. They extended it. And this is a very fun, popular vehicle. It's very expensive, though, not cheap. So there's the Rubicon with the 392. And we should be seeing more V8s moving forward now that there has been, as I mentioned, a change in administration, and there are those beautiful dual exhaust, quad exhaust coming out the back. Rounding out the Stellantis brands downstairs are the Alfa Romeos, and the Fiat 500 is only available this year in an all-electric. And then here's the Alfa Romeo Tonale, which, as I mentioned, is basically the same as the Dodge Hornet, the Hornet being the rebadged version of this Alfa Romeo Tonale. And right next door, again, part of the Stellantis lineup, is the Ram trucks. Used to be called Dodge Ram. I don't know why they changed it to its own brand, but there's Ram, and of course there's a 3500. This is a diesel. So even though the Hurricane engine is a straight 6, you can still get the diesel engines, and hopefully the V8s will be coming back into Dodge, or actually into Ram rather. And again, taking a look, the Motor Trend Truck of the Year was the Ram 1500. They've gone up a lot in price. They're not as inexpensive as they used to be. Very expensive trucks. They're great trucks. I really like them. But again, I think there's a problem not being able to get them with V8s. And this is the kind of performance brand, the performance Ram truck. It's got the Hurricane engine in it. It's an RHO, a Ram RHO. No longer is there a TRX, a Ram TRX, which was a Hellcat V8 powered 6.2 liter supercharged V8. This is the most powerful truck you can get in performance getup. And again, it's the RHO with the most powerful Hurricane engine that can be had. It's in the 500, I believe, horsepower range. But again, it's not a V8. It has different characteristics, and I just don't think it's going to sell as much, especially for the price it's at. It's cheaper than the TRX was, but again, it's very expensive for a 1500 truck. And taking a walk through, we see right here the Rebel trim package of the Ram truck. And as I mentioned, we're still downstairs, and GMC is also in the lower level. And we're taking a look at some of the GMC trucks. Got a bunch of pickups, some SUVs, and here's the Hummer. Back this year, they stopped making the Hummers in 2009, but they are back in EV only, all EV only. And this is a concept car. This is the Buick Wildcat. And this is an all-electric concept. This has been in the works for at least a couple of years. And now that there's, again, been a change in the direction of cars and the EV market is kind of crashing, I'm not sure they're going to go forth with this model unless they can somehow put some kind of a fast gas engine in it as well. Otherwise, I don't think this is ever going to make it to production. Really cool-looking car, though. By the way, for those of you who already know this and some that don't, Wildcat is a resurrected name. There were Buick Wildcats in the 60s, starting in the 60s, and I don't think we've seen them in quite a while, but that's the Buick Wildcat. And again, taking a look at some other Buicks, it seems like most of the Buicks here were all electric. They were EVs. And that was the direction of Buick and General Motors, but I think again that's going to change. There has not been as much interest in EVs lately, especially with incentives from the government going away. Here's the all-electric VW, again resurrected VW bus, all-electric. You may remember the original version from the 60s. They were called microbuses, or VW bus for short, and they were driven a lot by hippies. So in the 60s and 70s, Yeah, these are like hippie mobiles, freak mobiles, but now again they're resurrected, all electric, and they're called ID Buzz microbus, all electric, and they start around 62,000. So taking a look at some of the VW SUVs and crossovers, we're looking at them now. I think this one's an Atlas, and yep, this one is. Let's see which one this is. Well, it was made in Tennessee. By the way, they're really highlighting this year all the car brands where they're made. In other words, where they're made in the United States. And I think this might have to do with the upcoming tariffs and to just encourage people to buy them because they're made by American auto workers. There's an Atlas, and there's the Jetta, the sedans, the GTI. Again, great little sports car. These have been around for quite a while now. Very popular in Europe, the Golf GTI, and here in the United States as well. They've been around a long time, and they are just a stalwart in little performance cars. Here's the Volvo, the first Volvo model that came to the United States in the late 1950s, and this is the Volvo PV444E. And yeah, as you can see, it's got that 1950s styling, and yeah, this started it all for Volvo. And they had just 4-cylinder engines, manual transmissions. I don't think you could get it in an automatic in those days. I think it was just a manual, and there we can see it in there. Not a lot of horsepower either when these came out, but of course it was the 50s. 70 horsepower, 4-cylinder, so not a lot of hustle on those cars. This is interesting. This is showing the underpinnings of the Volvo sedans, the Volvo cars. I think actually this is a crossover, and this is just showing you the different metals that are used, and the different colors represent different tensile strengths and different thicknesses of metal and so forth. So again, Volvos have always been known as safe cars, especially when it comes to survivability in a crash. This is interesting. Volvo did this. These are little ice cream makers, and they're giving away ice cream. But it's not an ice cream maker. It's a mixer. What they're doing is they're putting the ingredients in the bowl, and they're adding liquid nitrogen, which instantly freezes the ice cream, and then it evaporates. So again, still looking at the Volvo cars, looking at now Volvo SUVs, and again, highlighting where they're made within the United States, just to show people that, hey, you support United States auto workers by buying a Volvo. And just about all the car companies were showing these off. This one's an electric, as you can see. But yeah, most of the car companies, Kia and Volkswagen and all of them, they're really highlighting where they were made. Here's an XC90 hybrid, and here's an XC60 Volvo crossover. So they came to the show with a lot of different models, the Volvos. And they've got all electrics, they've got all gas, they've got crossovers. So they've got a pretty wide range of offerings for the consumers. This EX40, by the way, is all electric. So they're kind of falling out of favor with the consumers. By the way, what is not falling out of favor, and this is not an electric, is this car, which was introduced this year at the auto show.
Flagship, the beautiful, the amazing Aston Martin Vanquish. Up front, the Vanquish, the Aston Martin Vanquish actually shows off its Aston Martin signature grille, flanked with beautiful, sharp headlights.
Yes, indeed. This is not an EV. This is a 5.2 liter V12 12-cylinder twin turbocharged 824 horsepower beast. This is just a beautiful car, and it must be so much fun to drive, and starting at like 430,000. Now, not at 430,000. We're getting back into the Chevrolets and starting off with a bunch of Chevy trucks. And they brought a whole bunch of them here, Chevy trucks of all different varieties as well as SUVs. And good to know that they're not going anywhere. By the way, the best-selling vehicles in the United States in 2024 and in most years is not a sedan like a Toyota Camry. They're trucks. The Chevy Silverado, which we're looking at here, was the second best vehicle sold in the United States. They sold over 500,000 units in 2024, and 542,000 units only followed, or the only one that sold better than that was the Ford F-150 truck. And here are some of the SUVs, as you can see, very popular, the Chevy SUVs. Sedans are kind of out of favor. I mean, as you can see, I don't even know that we see any Chevy sedans here anymore. They're all crossovers, SUVs, trucks, and Ford, of course, doesn't sell any sedans, except they just sell the Mustang, which is a car. And other than that, they're crossovers, SUVs, trucks. But I think I've heard sedans are kind of coming back in favor. You know, that this is the kind of thing, they go out of favor, they come back in favor, and so forth. But again, looking at more of the Chevy vehicles that came to the DC Auto Show this year, representing what's selling and what will be selling. Here's the Chevy Equinox. Getting into some of the more expensive, heavier duty trucks, the 2500 HD, Z71 suspension, and the Duramax engine. And, okay, so GM does still sell a car, and that's the Vet. They wouldn't stop selling this. This is one of the most popular, one of the best supercars in the world for the price. Chevy Corvette. Been around since the 50s. And I don't think they've stopped production ever since. Continuously produced since the 1950s. Just a fantastic, fantastic car. Hey, get your beer and get out of my camera angle. Good. That's better. So there it is, and here's another one. It's a hatchback. No, this is the new rear engine or mid-engine Corvette. They, of course, for years were always front engine, but this model is the mid-engine Corvette. Just a fantastic, fantastic driver's car and performance vehicle. Going over to Ford, there is the Bronco, the beautiful Broncos. Since these came on the scene within the last, I guess, couple of years, they have sold very well. Wish this thing had a V8 in it. It's a large enough vehicle. Anyway, who knows? Maybe someday. Here's another one. They brought a lot of the Broncos to the show to highlight those. And again, these have great utility. Good off-road as well. Ford's still making great SUVs, and now that there are so many sedans no longer available to law enforcement, such as the Dodge Charger, such as the Crown Victoria, and some of the other Fords, most law enforcement are using things like an Expedition or an Explorer. So that's something that'll keep Ford business going. And there is I believe that's an Escape mini SUV crossover. And there's one of the mini Broncos. Never understood why Ford calls different vehicles by the same name. You know, we get, for example, the Mustang, and then there's the Mustang Mach-E, which is an electric car, totally different from the other Mustang. I don't know why they just didn't call it something else. They just want to using the Mustang name, maybe because it sells well, because it has a good reputation, or because they want to confuse the consumers, who knows. But this, of course, is the Mach-E Mustang, totally fully electric. There's the front trunk. And those sell pretty well for electrics, but here's the real Mustang. This is the Mustang GT 5-liter V8. Just a fantastic car. Really doesn't have competition like it used to. Dodge Challenger and Chargers are no longer being made. I mean, now they're starting to make a new Charger EV, and they'll put a Hurricane 6-cylinder engine in that. The Camaros are no longer made. So Mustang kind of has a corner on the market, the pony car market, and what fun it is driving these convertibles, these Mustang convertibles. Not sure if I'm crazy about exclusively having video screens instead of gauges. At least some gauges would be nice, combination gauges and screens. Anyway, if you're sick of looking at cars, they've got some things here to drink at the bar on preview day. So for some people, that's a good thing. Moving over to Kia, just wanted to show you some of the Kias. I mean, they still sell a lot of sedans and a lot of EVs. The Kias and the Hyundais have been able to come out with some really economical EVs. So if you're looking for an EV and you don't want to spend a ton, then you can get a lot for your money for an EV here, Kias and Hyundais. And again, just kind of going through quickly to show you that they have a lot to offer, the Kias, a lot of sedans, crossovers, SUVs. And again, highlighting where the cars are made within the United States to encourage people to buy them. And here's the Kia Soul. The Kia Soul, I think, began selling in the United States in 2008. And this really is the vehicle Kia sold that put them on the market in the United States. They were very inexpensive, good for the money. And yeah, that's kind of what did it. And here's Hyundai. Kia and Hyundai are really the same company now. They are together. They've merged. And again, just showing quickly some of the vehicles Hyundai has. They've also, like Kia, they have a lot of reasonably priced EVs. You can get a lot for your money. I don't know what this is, paint-wise. I don't know paint on that. But anyway, they're, again, just showing all there's the Ioniq. And Hyundai has, again, quite a lot to offer. And they are known as reasonably priced vehicles. And, there they are highlighting where they were made in the United States. They've got a plant in Alabama. And this is the Hyundai Santa Fe SUV, very popular vehicle. And here we are taking a look at Nissans and the thrill of electric. I'm not so sure I buy that. They seem kind of boring to me. Electrics, that is. Yeah, they're good for some people and for some uses. Nissan, I've always liked Nissan vehicles. They've been having a lot of problems lately, though, unfortunately, and they have not been doing well, and they're in the process of really merging with Honda. So when they come together, they're going to, I think, be the third largest automaker in the world. Again, they have plants in the United States. They have a plant in Tennessee. There's the Altima. And that one's made in Mississippi. So if Nissan and Honda come together as they are planning to, they will again be able to consolidate and should do very well. Toyota. So Toyota has one of the largest spaces in the auto show this year. So they are one of the biggest sponsors of the show, and they just have a ton of products. So we'll just kind of take a walk through here. They've got sedans, they've got SUVs, they've got trucks, they've got performance cars. They've got it all. And Toyotas are very, very dependable cars. They're great for the money. So they've really come a long way from when they, in the 60s first came into the United States. They're just fantastic. And here they are highlighting all the plants they have throughout the United States. Toyota is, by the way, the largest auto manufacturer in the world. So that's probably why they have so many vehicles here at the show. And again, great trucks. We're passing some by here. And we're kind of moving now into the performance section of the Toyota display. And here's the little GR Corolla performance hatchback. This used to have a lot of competition. You know, the Subaru WRX still is competition. There used to be a Mitsubishi Lancer Evo Evolution, the Mazda Speed 3, the Ford Focus ST and RS. They're gone now. So here is the Toyota. Here's the Toyota GR86, which is the same as the Subaru BRZ. Hey, where's the shift knob on that? How am I supposed to shift gears? Anyway, yeah, great little car for the money. Great little sports car for the money. So that is just fantastic. Here is the Toyota Supra. And this is made in conjunction with BMW. The BMW Z4 and Toyota Supra are basically the same car. I actually would prefer to have the Toyota because their tolerances, manufacturing tolerances, are much tighter. So this is a great car and an excellent performance vehicle. And let's take a look at just some of the other sedans that Toyota has. Technical Observer. I don't know what this means. Observing what? It's a prototype. I don't know if that paint job's a prototype. But anyway, just looking over again at Ford, towards the Ford area. But again, Ford and Toyota are right next to each other. And once again, highlighting where these vehicles are made. Here's one made in Texas. They're at their plant in Texas. Again, Toyota is all over the place as far as being manufactured within the United States. They've got plants everywhere. And another Texas-built Toyota. So there's so much crossing of the lines as far as not knowing which cars are manufactured where. It isn't necessarily what their nameplate says. And again, just showing the variety and the depth and breadth of their vehicle lineup. Here's the new 4Runner. This is the 2025 4Runner, probably why it says prototype on it. Vehicle is locked because, of course, we all like to grab that handle and try to look inside, but we cannot. So there it is, the all-new 2025 Toyota 4Runner. And that's about it from Washington, D.C., from the Washington, D.C. Auto Show. Thanks for joining me. If you haven't already done so, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell. Those things help a lot. Take care. We'll see you next time.